Wednesday, September the 3rd, 9:33 a.m. There is something really special about waking up early in the morning, getting the body warm, and then coming back to the home to begin the practices of the day. I'm so grateful for my body, my health. Last week, certainly there were a couple of days I didn't feel so great. But here I am, once again, 113 days left until my birthday. 64 weeks, something like that, until I'm 35. When we say time is a construct and just another thing, it can be full of pressure when we think of it like that. And on the other hand, it can also be liberating. The thought to do more, be more, have more. Maybe it's actually be more, do more, and have more in life. It feels nice to me. It's something I'm holding on to. This belief or this energetic pattern that there's a lot to do in life. And it's interesting, I guess it's a lot to be as well. But that part, I guess, is what I'm trying to say is, yes, there's time for rest. Yes, there's time for softness. Yes, there's time to be energetically aligned. And I think that's important once that's the foundation of every waking moment and breath. But once that's there, and that will continue to be tested, that's something that will continue to be tested. But as that comes to the background, to the foreground comes, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to be? How am I going to do in my communities, in my family, in my life, more than myself? You know, I remember back when I was younger, I'd read a lot of Tony Robbins, and the highest part about life is being in service of others. I really do believe that. There's the individual, there's the collective, and there is service of the higher good. And so, 113 more days left. This is without it being full of pressure, without it going crazy, this is the beginning of a new day. I have been given this day to use as I will, and what I do today is important because I am exchanging a new day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place whatever I have traded for. I will pledge to myself that it shall be for gain, good, and success, in order that I shall not regret the price I paid for this day. My thinking and my attitudes are calm and cheerful. I act and feel friendly towards other people. I am tolerant of other people, their shortcomings and mistakes, and I view their actions with the most favorable understanding possible. I act as though attainment of my goals is sure to happen. I am the kind of individual I aspire to be, and everything I do and the way I feel expresses this individuality. I will not allow my judgment or attitudes to be affected by negativism or pessimism. I try to smile as often as possible. I respond in a calm and intelligent manner, without alarm, no matter what the situation. If I cannot control a situation, I try always to react in a positive manner, even to negative facts. I know that if I apply myself to forming habits to enable me to act in the above manner, it will have a positive influence on my self-image in a most constructive way. By making these actions a part of my life, I'll notice a definite growth in my self-confidence. Let's see. I like this one. Let's see. Recently, I was riding a jet on my way from New York to London, and I overheard a man and his wife talking in front of me. She said, "What a beautiful sight. How insignificant it makes us feel." He said, "You mean how grateful we are alive? You mean how grateful we are to be alive in this universe?" This exchange made me realize what humility gives us. The purpose of humility is not to make us feel insignificant, but in our own right, get to know who we are and to contribute to the universe. Very interesting how this came up in the passage when I was thinking about this earlier and said out loud, service of others. The purpose of humility is not to make us feel insignificant, but in our own right, get to know who we are and to contribute to the universe. So let's go back to that. She said, "What a beautiful sight. How insignificant it makes us feel." He said, "You mean how grateful we are alive to be in this universe." Great men like Einstein and Gandhi were humble. They certainly were not self-disparaging. They were self-confident about their knowledge and their goals for humanity, their desire to make the world a better place for people. Humility is not self-denial, it is self-affirmation, belief in our integrity and dignity as human beings. It is a blending of success and failure, where we keep failure in proper perspective in the past and success in proper perspective in the present. Humility is a blending of success and failure, where we keep failure in proper perspective in the past and success in proper perspective in the present. We let neither dominate us. Humility is the balance between trying to be no more than we are and no less than we are, not trying to be superior or inferior. It is poise, in that we do not inhibit ourselves by past failures, nor do we brag about present successes. Humility is an emotional thermostat that keeps us being ourselves, that keeps us young. I remember many years ago, I was visiting with an editor friend of mine, and he noticed I was unhappy. A story of mine had been turned down by a magazine. He said, "Maxwell, what gave you the idea that you could be successful as a writer overnight? You'll get many rejection slips before you succeed." That editor taught me humility. I did succeed in time by overcoming errors instead of letting errors overcome me. To take that as a corollary, or take that as an example, that's a little bit about soccer too. Philip, what gave you the idea that you could be successful as a soccer player overnight? You'll get many rejections and make bad passes, receive terrible balls with bad control before you succeed. And so I did succeed in time by overcoming errors instead of errors overcoming me. Humility has these 8 ingredients: sincerity, and notice here, being sincere with ourselves and with others. Understanding our needs and the needs of others. Knowledge. Learning that we are and we don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Capacity. Humility has the ingredient of capacity, extending our ability to listen and learn. We are, in healing, broadening our capacity as human beings to be better healers. Integrity. Constantly building an inner sense of values and adhering to them. Contentment. Building a state of peacefulness through understanding and not making mountains of molehills. Yearning. Looking for new horizons, new goals, new successes, and reaching out for them. It's a little bit like what Scott calls impeccability. And maturity. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. With maturity, you will understand humility, and with humility, you will be a successful human being. There is no humility in humility. It takes time to acquire humility, but it is worth it since it brings happiness. Or as James S. Barrie said, life is a long lesson in humility. There you have it today, folks. Thank you so much. I'm Philip Chen, and seamos mágicos.